want to talk to you about my first job ever. My first job ever is very interesting because I got into sales at the age of 19. I was at uni and I was studying, and I got a part-time job on a Thursday night and on the weekend. And what I used to do is I used to cook food at shopping centres, and people used to come and try this barbecue called a Weber barbecue. And if they liked the food, what used to happen is that they would ask me a question, and then they potentially would buy a barbecue. They were $199, and I used to sell about 5 barbecues on a Thursday, Saturday. And one day, as I was cooking, this guy with a nice suit comes up and looks at the barbecue and says, "What's your clothes?" I said, "What?" He goes, "What's your clothes?" And I just looked at him and said, "Smart casual." And all I could remember as he was talking to me is my mum saying, "Tom," because it was my first job, "be careful, there's a lot of weirdos at shopping centres." And I thought, this is the one that she's talking about. He said, "Do you have a clothes?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When someone comes in, how do you get them to buy barbecue?" I say, "If they like it, they buy one." He said, "From now on, say, would you like a red one or green one?" I said, "But we've got blue and black." He said, "Just ask him a question, would you like a red one or green one?" Anyway, he walked away. I thought, this guy's an absolute dickhead. But it's changed my life, because the next person that came along was a lady with 2 kids. It was around 11:45 in the morning, and I'd been cooking my food. It took me 2 hours to have that chicken and potatoes looking really great. And she said, "Can I try some?" And I thought, of course you're going to try some. You've come over for free lunch. But I kept that in my head. And she said, "That tastes good." I said, "Yeah, you put the lid on, it acts as an oven." She said, "How much are these?" I said, $199. I said, "Would you like a red one or green one?" She said, "Oh, I'll take the green one." And I remember putting my head down and thinking, what do you say next? It worked. Where's this guy gone? Anyway, I kept using that line to everyone coming over. "Would you like a red one or green one?" Some people said, "Oh, I'll take one. I'll take the green." A lot of people said, "No, I'm just looking." Next person came along, "Red or green?" "Oh, just looking." Next person came along, "Red or green?" "I'll take a red." I tripled barbecue sales in 6 weeks. And I got a phone call about 7 weeks into that role, and they asked me to go speak at the National Weber Barbecue Conference. And my title of my heading was "How to Triple Your Barbecue Sales," which was very exciting because I went in. It was the first time I'd really been on a plane, and I flew over to Adelaide, and I was excited, and my mum was worried, "You're going interstate." I said, "It's all right. I'll be back tonight." And I get there. I had a 45-minute time slot. It was my first speaking gig ever. And the room's got about 60 women in there, that they're all part-time Weber people. And I get up, and I was very nervous. And I just said, "What you got to say is whether you want a red one or green one." And I had 44 minutes left, which was a real worry. And I remember stressing and sweating, and then the manager was so good, he came out the front and he said, "Tom, would you like to do it as a Q&A? I said, "That's my preference today, yes." He said, "Okay, so we're going to do it as a Q&A. We've changed the agenda." Tom, tell us about the 7 steps that lead up to the sale. How do you go through those? No, just the question, the red or green. Tom, tell us about the 10 USPs that we have at Weber. So what's that? I didn't understand what USP meant. He said, Tom, is there anything else you want to add? I said, absolutely nothing, that's all. He said, not one. I said, blue, black, red, green, just use the colours. And I remember leaving and thinking to myself, okay, I don't want to do that again, but I'll tell you what's interesting. It's 25 years later, and as I stand here today in 2013, I've got to tell you, we've got Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we've got incredible digital platforms, but at the end of the day, people like Matt Steinwade and all the great agents around Australia, it's still a face-to-face game. And I don't believe that closing is the word we should use. I believe that if you have been a trusted advisor, you have every right to use these words. Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, have I done enough to earn your business? Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, have I done enough to earn your business? Because I can tell you, if they've been sitting on your database for 2 years and you've gone back there many, many times and you've been liaising with them, you have earned the right to ask that question. Not only have you earned the right, you're doing them a favour. Because if you don't actually get the listing and you get them stuck with one of your competitors that doesn't know how to negotiate, they're going to end up getting less money for their home. So you're doing them a favour. And I noticed that the best real estate agents carry themselves from that position, that they go in there with confidence, integrity, authenticity, because they believe they're doing the right thing by that person. And if they don't list them, that they're going to get stuck with a dickhead. Sorry, I had a coffee before I went on.